What's going on, Taurus? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having an incredible month so far. Get pumped, Taurus. But for those of you, I'll let you know why in a second. But for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just fantastic, Taurus. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy how yourself has brought you here. We're in for an amazing journey. And let me tell you why this is such an exciting time, Taurus, because it is Celestial News Monthly. There's a nice little flare at the end there, Taurus. But with this, well, before we get into this monthly spread, Taurus, considering that we're getting ready to talk about how the sun's moving, how we're about to have all these planetary motions there, Taurus, it'd be a perfect time to book a reading with me. If you want to know where the transits are and how they're interacting in your chart, or if you just want to take a look at your natal chart there, Taurus, get to understand yourself a bit differently, more energetically, or just book some tarot card readings. I have some links down with those services in the description box there, Taurus, and on the links on my bio and Instagram. I feel like that combination of word makes sense, but hopefully you can decipher that. But also, another thing to be aware of there, Taurus, is that scammers are about. So keep in mind, I would never reach out to you for readings. This will be something that you set up with me there, Taurus. You'll be the initiator for that interaction. So just something to be mindful of. But Taurus, with this monthly spread, whenever the sun moves into a new sign, we're going to talk about where the planets are and how we can work with the energies. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said there, Taurus, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just wonderful energy all around here, Taurus. Now I have oracle cards here with the zodiac signs that the sun and the planets are in. I'm going to pull an oracle card from this deck for each one of them, and then we will get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, Taurus, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? And in case if y'all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links to them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below are some links for some other readers that I like watching there, Taurus, so definitely check them out. They're an intuitive group, very fantastic energies that they bring. Thank you, guys. And I think you just enjoyed their energy. Also, there's a link for an astrologer that I enjoy watching, a link for a couple of podcasts as well. One of them's a Taurus, that's always exciting. And then there's some links for some apps that I like working with as well there, Taurus. And since we're going to be in collaboration soon, you might as well download them. Useful tool in your tool belt to understand yourself more astrologically. But before we get into this big old birthday bash that Pisces is throwing, let's talk about a couple of aspects that I just want to get on your radar there, Taurus. Because you have Chiron, who is the wounded healer. It looks like a key in your chart there, Taurus, like a K with a circle underneath it. That's Chiron, the wounded healer, where we need to put in a lot of love there, a lot of self-care, that wound that never heals, but intending to that and learning to deal with this. There are things that unlock in us, Taurus. Is really wonderful what Chiron can, the blessings that Chiron can bring. And then we have the North Node that's in Aries, and they're both forming a conjunction. The North Node is where your soul's trying to guide you there, Taurus, kind of like that North Star in a sense. And I feel with this conjunction that's happening, I feel for you, Taurus, that this will be one where, and for all of us, it's really kind of challenging ourselves, a sense of self. It's really kind of testing our bravery to rise up to whatever this calling is that you feel your soul was meant to do during this go-round. What you have, again, this kind of looks at too where your North Node is, where this is taking place in your chart. But this is a time where you can kind of take the moment to heal maybe this self-inflicted wound. Maybe there's like a self-esteem type of thing. Maybe we've felt where we've had to shrink ourselves, or maybe it's on the opposite end where we may overcompensate, and find out where the triggers from that are coming from there. What sort of healing? Did we have something in the past that stirred up this way that we act, that we may shy away from, that we need to prove our dominance maybe? Or yeah, it just gets you to thinking about, what are the things that may be just kind of pushing that inner peace there, Taurus. What are some things that we may not be, that we may be keeping inside, that are just needing to be maybe worked through, whether this be maybe through yoga to kind of understand if we can't find the words to it, or maybe just getting out and appreciating nature as it makes sense for you, because yours is a sign that it's very attuned to that earthly energy there, Taurus. So mother, Gaia can be a very great place of healing for you. But this also too, Taurus, with this energy in putting in this work, this invites others to do the same. And I feel with each of us, how we embody these zodiacal energies, it's nice to see different versions and different ways of how healing and growth look on one another, and being okay to be in that vulnerability as well, to admit where I'm not quite sure what's going on. I'm even a little afraid about, or feeling a little afraid about doing it, but still showing up regardless. That's that Aries energy, that willpower, to have that command over yourself, and have that sort of determination where it's like, okay, maybe it's not the time to move, or just, just sharpening that instinct, I feel. But then this one might actually be a really nice one for you too. And actually all this Pisces energy would be really lovely for you, Taurus, because you have the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn that are going to be forming a conjunction in Pisces on the 28th of February at about 9 degrees. Oh, and this conjunction with Chiron and the North Node. See where you have 16 degrees of any fire placement, or Aries, or cardinal placements, or air placements there, Taurus. And then with this Pisces energy, it's happening at 9 degrees of Pisces. And so you want to check your Taurus placements, check any or any other earth placements that you have. This is either going to be forming a sextile, or check your mutable placements, which is Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, and Sagittarius placements as well for this. And even if you have any water placements, this will be affecting that as well. But just seeing it in your chart gives you just a more kind of highlighted point of where to focus. But this energy here, I feel, Taurus, is a nice blend of, because they're all under the rulership of Neptune. And so I feel this is a time for you to really kind of use your imagination. And especially for you, considering that these points, depending on where your Taurus placements are, form sextiles with your sign. Pisces is this imagination, but it's this awareness of consciousness, of how we really interact in this realm. Really seeing, in this book I read, it's like Pisces isn't the mind observing the world. Pisces is the mind observing the world. Like, it's really kind of just like that, really kind of out there stuff with Pisces. But this, I feel, can help you with the Sun being about your will, Neptune as far as like who I am, Mercury being in this place of how we think, how we perceive, and Saturn being this planet of foundations and discipline and things. This can be a time for you to get an image for yourself. Where do you see yourself going in this future, as we're getting ready to close up all this Pisces energy, because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac before we start over again with Aries. So this can be where, again, we may have had some limiting self-esteems, maybe where we had these doubts, and now we can really kind of approach stuff with a bit more realism and come here with a more kind of grounded approach. Take that nebulous, because that's what Saturn in Pisces is wanting, to take that nebulous energy, that awareness, and show that we have more control and are more capable of building these ideas in our head than we realize. So just something I feel like real kind of deep to think about there, Taurus. But let's go ahead and talk about this big old bonanza that Pisces is throwing in their sign, because you have the Sun that's entering Pisces, Mercury's going to be entering, your ruler's going to be entering. I feel like that's going to be really, really lovely for both of you. And I was really kind of swimming in it with Libra's reading. But then you have Saturn and Neptune that are still hanging out in Pisces. Now, the Sun is going to be entering on the 18th of February, and that'll be at about 11:13 p.m. And then we'll be there through the 19th of March. And like I was saying with this energy, this is the last stop of the zodiacal wheel in this awareness that is Pisces. In this, I feel like it is taking a look and really kind of facing the stuff, because Pisces can be on a lower expression, can get involved in this energy of escapism. And I feel like this is a time to really kind of look at what happened this past, since like last March, with some real clarity, and kind of understand where you showed up, where we may not have, where we really brought it, where we may have maybe fallen short. What do we learn from these situations again? But I do feel like that it is approaching it with this kindness, this compassion as well, because I feel like this is understanding that everyone is kind of they're working with the tools that they have. They're meeting them where they're at, as opposed to like kind of expecting more, because again, everybody's at different points in their journeys to their Taurus. And this is not excusing them, but this is more so putting a point where it's just like, well, maybe we need to put some boundaries here, or, I need to remove my energy from this, and understanding ourselves more energetically as well. Because let's talk about that, because I think that's all I wanted to say with the Sun and Pisces. Oh, well, one other thing though, this can be a time for forgiveness as well. Again, for closures, for wrapping things up, and getting in this energy of compassion, forgiveness. And so we're not carrying this stuff on this next Aries cycle here, when we start into this next year off fresh, kind of light and things. But I want to talk about Saturn and Pisces next, because Saturn's going to be, he entered Pisces last year on, I want to say the 7th of March, 2023, and will be there. He'll first enter into Aries on the 24th of May, and then we'll retrograde back into Pisces and do a little retrograde dance a little bit. But while Saturn is in Pisces, one thing it is, I feel like getting a little more disciplined with our energies, because no matter what is going on, we may not have points, let's say you don't have a lot of water placements, but you do have water in your chart. You have Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio somewhere in your charts. And I feel that this is just understanding ourselves just a little bit deeper. It doesn't have to just be through just like astrology. This is just in general. When you notice that, like, oh, when I deal with someone, this like really drains me. Or when I'm here, I feel very soothed. Or and I know that may seem like a no-brainer, but we can be on such autopilot all the time there, Taurus, that, with how overstimulating and dense this world can be, we've sort of become a little numb to it in a sense. We've built up a tolerance in a way, and now I feel like this is kind of, it's almost like a deconstruction. We're almost like going through this dry spell and kind of reintroducing the stimuli. And it's just like, does this really feel good? Is this really promoting this sense of inner peace that I'm trying to get, this tranquility, and being more disciplined and mindful with your spiritual practices, cleansing your energies, maybe doing some sage, or, limiting your time maybe around technology, or whatever that may be, getting out in nature, whatever that's looking like there for you, Taurus. And I feel like this is an important one, because your ruler, Venus, the Empress, is going to be entering on the 11th of March, and that will be at around 5:50 p.m. And it should be there through the 5th of April. Now, this is really lovely for Venus, because after your sign in Libra, she rules the signs that she rules over. This, in Pisces, she's exalted in their sign, so her energy operates very well there. And this is a really great one for too, when we were talking about forgiveness, amending any sort of past things that's happening, or if we can't have that conversation, at least getting that closure, making that peace the best way that we can there, Taurus. And I feel that though this could be one where we do collectively meet each other on a more spiritual, emotional level. There's this awareness of how we're going about You know, because again, we all come from source, and we're all this interaction of source. So it's like how you treat others is how you treat yourself. And it is, I do feel too, just with this heightened awareness, and I was mentioning this with Libra too, that for you especially being a more picking up that more sensual side of the Empress, I feel that there could be again this sort of over potential if we're not mindful of overstimulation. So I just feel like doing some things, like some loving things, some ways that you can express yourself to keep your energies calm, because there's, but I do feel like this is an opportunity for you to tap into different, like tap into yourself and your relationships in a different type of way there, Taurus, with Venus being in this energy and forming these, again, these sextiles with your sign over this very, can be potentially very easy flowing energy for you and how you interact in. But just be mindful though of over giving and sacrificing yourself more, because that is something that the Empress can do while under that influence of Pisces. But then this is going to be, I feel like, a really lovely one for you too. This is just this energy for you, and just all of this Pisces energy, Taurus. Mercury is going to be entering on the 23rd of February, and will enter there at about 2:29 a.m. and then we'll be there on until the 9th of March. Now, this I feel will really help get your imagination to run wild, to really kind of create this sort of inner sanctuary within yourself there, Taurus, where you know, where when you find yourself kind of frazzled there, where you can go to find this sense of peace, to meet yourself and a lot deeper and understand your sort of like psychological patterns and things. Is a really great time for introspection with this Pisces energy that's going on through there. And I feel like a lot of healing that can be done through art, through expression, whether this is you maybe writing your own song, or maybe building something there, Taurus, crafting some things. I just see you really just kind of working with your hands, just kind of weaving some things. And really just, again, there's an opportunity for you just to kind of check in with yourself as it makes sense. I know we still have responsibilities, your jobs and things, but yeah, finding, I feel like, just more tools and ways for you to just get into this sort of Zen place there, this kind of dreamy, I feel like that'd be very, really, just really nice for you there, Taurus. And then the last energy here is Neptune, who's fueling all of this, And the nice thing too is that Jupiter is doing this in your sign as well, because Jupiter's the traditional ruler of Pisces as well. So there is that earth, a lot of like, I feel like fertile energy here for you to do a lot with there, to go about some hobbies, or to just to kind of unplug from technology and just sort of like watch life go by a little bit, kind of really be in the moment, take in all the stimuli that's going on there from the sounds. And if you haven't had a chance to get away there, Taurus, go do that. I don't feel like, of course, however your chart, these energies are translating in your chart, you don't necessarily need to be like living in the woods or anything like that, but just maybe having some plants around you, taking a getaway every now and again. I feel this would be very beneficial for recharging your batteries there, Taurus. And with Neptune, now let me get back on Neptune. Neptune's going to be, or has been in Pisces since 2011. And she'll be there until, she'll first enter Aries in 2025 as well, again, where she'll retrograde. But I feel this has been an awakening, Taurus. We chose an interesting time to embody on this planet and in this realm, and I feel that Neptune in Pisces has been this just collective awareness towards something outside of just these physical vessels here. I know you are very attached to it in a sense, because I feel like, again, you have these heightened senses, but I feel that that's not trying to forget your sixth sense as well there, Taurus, because we have more than just these five. And I feel like that we've maybe been the five have just been the importance that has been given to you know, but now there's a time to tap into the sixth sense with Pisces, getting into that more sort of intuitive space to kind of really feel these shifts and changes there and understand that. It's just, you know, this I feel like this is, while we still have this Neptune and Pisces energy, while we're still in the thick of it, I do feel that this is too, has been kind of been this invitation to see where we may have been dreaming a little bit, where we may have been escaping, and where we do need to realize that the dream is going to come to an end here soon. You know, Neptune will eventually she's finishing her last stop. She's taking what she's reflected over her last trip. She takes about 100 and some odd years to go through the Zodiac. I want to say 140 years. 147 is what's coming to me, but don't quote me on that, Taurus. Check that out. But, you know, she's been on a long journey, and she's been enjoying her little trek here in Pisces. But, you know, now again we're getting to this place where this state of disillusionment may come in, and it's just like, what are we going to do while we were in this dreamland? How have we grown and connected with one another a bit more? You know, how have we understood our consciousness in this collective, in a sense? How are we seeing, you know, how's our perspective shifted? How has everything changed, but nothing changed at the same? We still have to go through this day-to-day journey, but it's just like, how are we approaching it differently? You know, adding a bit more imagination, bringing a bit more magic, but in a healthy dose, in a sense, you know. But yeah, and like I was saying, Taurus, these placements are going to be forming sextiles with your sign, which is very easy flowing energy for you. Really kind of, really, I feel like I'm getting this gentleness that's coming through here, and just being gentle with yourself, taking care of your needs, and yeah, just paying attention to finding security within there, Taurus. I feel like that's the big mission for you there. But let's go ahead and get into your first card here, Taurus, which absolutely, I really kind of love this, because you have Archangel Haniel here, which is 15th energy, which is devil energy, which I've always found very fascinating with this card. Quite the contradiction with this card. But this is a card of joy, blessings, and intuition. And we were talking about that with the intuition, because I feel like this is a time for you to really kind of tune into yourself, tune into your needs, and see where we may have been ignoring your needs, but also I feel like maybe ignoring the needs of others as well. Maybe there has been a little more of this taking, you know, making sure that there's this reciprocity that's going on in here, Taurus. But I do feel that I do feel like there is, like I've been saying, this finding these joy and appreciating the blessings in your life, but try not to get it to where we're using them as a means of escape. I feel like just with that 15th energy, devil energy being in there. But also I feel too that the devil is Capricorn energy. And Capricorn is about that long work. Where do we want to invest in the long haul? Are we enjoying the things that we're doing? Do they make us feel fulfilled? Do we feel our energies, are they resonating with what we're doing right now? You know, because depending on when you're watching this, we just had this full moon in Aquarius, or not full moon, new moon in Aquarius. And where that snapshot's happening, Venus is still, and when you're watching this, Venus is still in Capricorn. And so she's asking ourselves, this is the time for her to be patient, to be where she's going to be thinking about the future soon and getting moving on. But this is a time where she doesn't need to rush while she's in Capricorn. You know, she wants quality, not quantity. You know, and I feel like this is like doing the things that she enjoys, bringing the people that she enjoys it with, sharing these blessings amongst these people, having the blessings return back. Just this real kind of, again, like I'm getting one of your cards, like the big Six of Pentacles, finding this new sense of values, even, which we'll talk about more. Oh, you know what? We'll do the first switch for you, Taurus, because yeah, I haven't switched them in a little while, and I feel like that's kind of nice with what we're talking about. But let's get. Oh wow! All right, Taurus. I love when the guides do that. All right, Taurus. So you see why. Thank you, guides. So here's Capricorn, the devil, Oh, interesting. And here's we have finished up with Neptune. All right, so you have there. So you have the Devil here. You have the Hanged Man, Neptune energy, the Tower, Mars energy. Then you have the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands here, Taurus. And I like this because I really like this combination when I'm just thinking more kind of planetary between the Hanged Man Neptune, the Tower Mars, and the Queen of Wands. I feel like this is moving, not forcing your energies. You know, taking this moment to pause before we take action. Because I feel that, you know, sometimes in the pursuit of joy, the pursuit of blessings, we block out our intuition and go towards the immediate things and in the end kind of burn ourselves out is what I'm feeling. And I feel that there's this patience that's coming through here with the Devil as far as getting what we want, recognizing maybe the things that we've been going after haven't been something that is actually sustainable, maybe something that we've been just maybe been a little impatient about there, Taurus, just to get that quick release. And that's, I mean, we've been conditioned to, you know, get these things, did things a lot quicker with Amazon, with the internet, with all this stuff. And when it's going slow, like the minor inconvenience is like the tower is burning down. But now I feel like this is kind of like there's a slowing down energy and really kind of being precise as far as like ask yourself, is this what I truly want there? This I was carrying these mice here and it's just like, is this what I want to invest my energy into? And that's a big energy with where both Uranus and Jupiter are in your have been in your sign. Uranus a little bit longer, but I do feel too that this is the Queen of Wands. This Queen of Wands energy is giving me this. How she's going about it is relaxed. You know, she's not just jumping at any old thing, but there is that thrill of life that's happening. She feels alive again, you know, like, and really kind of invigorated in a sense. And where, yes, she wants to experience all of this time, she doesn't want this current moment to end. So instead of looking forward to something, she's just appreciating what, you know, it will say, we'll see what happens next, but right now, it's very present that I feel like she's kind of operating in. And I feel like in that presence there, Taurus, there's the enlightenment. There's that seeing things from a different perspective there. And maybe even for some realizing that we don't have to even push ourselves to this point of almost burnout, in a sense that there can be this balance between this stuff there. Because it's interesting too how looking at how your Hanged Man is between this tower and the Devil here. And it's like, how do we keep this sense of peace with temptations coming this way, with all this change coming that way? And very interesting energy there, Taurus. But I think I'm going to leave that there. Now let's talk about your energy here, Taurus. Because you got Big Papa, Jupiter, that's in your sign for a little while longer. And then we have Uranus that's been in Taurus as well. And, you know, with Uranus, because Uranus has been in there since 2018, and he'll be there through the 7th of July of 2025, and he'll retrograde back into your sign for a little bit. But this has been, you know, Uranus brings, I don't want to even necessarily say surprises, because I feel these are things we were aware of deep down, but we just ignored them. We created this kind of fantasy, and Uranus is there too. He's the wake-up call. He's the asking ourselves, where have we surrendered our freedom? Where have we lost our control? Where have we become complacent? You know, and where Uranus loves stability. You know, don't get me wrong. You know, there is this, I feel like this energy has been a little perplexing. And I feel like this is why Uranus has been doing so well in it, because this has been asking us to be comfortable in the unpredictable. You know, with how these changes in like our employment, going from working at a space to working at home, to being on just a global shutdown, and how we interact with others, how we were shut off from the outside, you know, essentially almost shut off from the outside in a sense, you know, trying to restrict the senses. It's been a lot that's been going on, and Uranus has been kind of putting that stuff in our face. Look at how we've been doing. Have you really been enjoying the stuff that we've been putting security in? Neptune's pulling that blanket off, and Uranus is trying to flip the bed. And Uranus, it's a lot that's kind of going on. I feel like in this bedroom here, trying to get you awake there, Taurus. But I do feel that this has been one where it has been just like, yeah, what do we put our value in? How do we find in this ever-changing world with all these tower moments, all these temptations, all of this, all of that, and the other, how do we find this inner security? Because anything can be taken. Uranus, I feel like, is that reminder that the only true security and freedom that comes from is within, you know, like, and it's like, and sometimes he can be extreme with it, you know, in that quest for like showing up. And that's very interesting how this is coming up there, Taurus. But I feel that this is understanding that we can't control our outside environment, but we can control what happens within, you know, how we react to it, which recreates our world, you know, creates this reality where we're not, again, being in the state of delusional, but we're disillusioned, like, in the sense of, like, let's say we're going through a tower moment, that this is going to last forever, you know, and like, and then when the joy comes, it's reveling in that a little bit longer, but having the capacity, like, where it's like, okay, now it's time to get back to work. It's this interesting balance, I feel like, is happening here, like, just you kind of taking stock of where, you know, of what we've considered, again, just secure. But then you have, and just keep in mind too, I do feel like this is, with you being attributed to, like, the environment as well there, Taurus, I do feel like there is this need to connect with Earth again and just kind of feel where she's at. You know, and I feel like that there's this, and I just feel kind of the Earth just wanting your attention, Taurus. I feel like it's just like feels like the Earth is, like, kind of weeping in a sense. It's just very interesting, and just like it almost needs kind of that Taurian energy to kind of console that a little bit, to just connect with the Earth, get grounded again, and just sort of share, almost like both of you kind of sharing what we've been kind of holding in order to release that there. That's fascinating, Taurus. But then you have Jupiter that's going to be that's going to be in your sign a little while longer, until the 25th of this month, or excuse me, of May, and right around your birthday season. Oh no, we'll just be getting into Gemini season. But with this energy, Taurus, this, I feel, with Jupiter being closer to almost, well, he still has a little bit of ways to go before he gets to the end, but with, you know, the months closing on there for this year of Jupiter being in your sign, how have we been investing in yourself this year with Jupiter having gone through there? Because he entered, I want to say, on the 16th of May last year. So, you know, in what areas have you been seeing long-term growth? You know, have we been maybe indulging in kind of the lower expression, maybe been a little hedonistic, maybe been kind of, you know, with all the changes and things, you know, and it happens, Taurus. We just be kind to ourselves, but we do recognize where we may have been, where there's been a slip up possibly, or where we've been giving our power over to something, and what can we do to get back on track? You know, how do we get that foundation secure? And I do feel too, the nice thing I feel like with Jupiter being in your sign is that your energy does slow things down, and I feel like that's a really nice thing for Jupiter, because I feel sometimes, you know, we can be, you know, we just want all the luck, all the abundance, but we don't take into stock where we're at when we're receiving this abundance. We can have all the joy, but if we're feeling in a low mood, in a low vibration, none of that matters. You know, it's unappreciated. And so I feel like this energy has even helped slow down in the abundance in a sense so that we can learn to appreciate what we do have as opposed to being where we're just constantly thirsting for what we want. Of course, could we want more? But how could we when we look at this environment that we have? Just that I know that there, of course, homes and things, like I get that, Taurus, but I am just kind of feeling just like on a larger scale, this could be incorporating, because these are forming conjunctions with your placements or have been, and there could be this new way of how we're interacting with your environment there, Taurus, how you're interacting with yourself, what you really feel matters to you, what really brings that sense of peace. And I feel Uranus has probably been the biggest teacher probably for your energy there, Taurus, with all of this stuff, and he's almost done. But yeah, conjunctions can be a little can bring a little anxiety, a little discomfort, just because it's a new blend of energies that are interacting with those natal placements in a new type of way there, and it may not even be something where you're going through a Jupiter return, but yeah, they're just interacting with those placements in a different type of way, and yeah, that fusion is just like how do you integrate that conjunction energy. So, but and what do we need to let go of to make space for that if we recognize something that we do like there, Taurus? But, alrighty. Thank you, guys. So you have the connections card here, Taurus, which is a card of partnership, contract, and commitment. And I do feel with this, Taurus, that especially with when Venus gets into Pisces, just mind your partnerships and pay attention to how I feel like everyone is showing up in your commitments there, Taurus. Your commitments to your work, how you're showing up to that, how we feel about other people showing up to that. Is there a question of commitment there? The partnerships that we're in, friendships, familial relationships, love relationships. How are those connections forming there? Has there been growth? What's been changed, or has the contract changed? Has the are we going at different paces here now, or different resonance here? And I do feel that this may be a time where, I'm going to switch this up a little bit, Taurus. Look at you, you're getting all the switches. But I do feel that there is going to be this maybe challenge with where either you're going towards and in how you want to grow, or maybe even in the people around you that they're changing, and it's just, I feel like it's like maybe we're getting ready to close some contracts here, or maybe even in that some new ones may be forming as well there. And that might be what this Hanged Man can be reminding you too, that it's, if we've had maybe a lot of connections kind of come to a close or something, that remembering that it is making space for something new. New partnerships can form. It's not the end of the world in a sense, but, and I do get where we have some things that grow, we mourn them, give them the space that they need before we jump into something new there, I feel, with the Queen of Wands. But let me get some tarot on this, Taurus, and see what's going on with this. And maybe for some we did just have a Tower moment. And maybe before, like what I was saying, maybe we need to take a moment and just before we commit to anything, commit to yourself. To commit to your needs, what is intuitively that you feel that is needed right now. And look at the blessings in your life, do some joy, do some self-care. You know what? And maybe finding even more sort of like, Alright, Taurus. Thank you, guys. Let's see what's going on here. I like that. So you have the Ace of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Strength card, Leo energy, and then the ruler Capricorn here, Saturn, the World card here, Taurus. And I do feel that there are is giving me this energy of openings and closures is what I feel like is happening here. Maybe we're getting ready to finish up with a contract, maybe with a job, and now we're getting ready to start something new, and we're kind of at odds with what is that looking like? Where do I want to go from here? Where do I want to commit to now? Maybe we're at a milestone in a partnership, and maybe we're evaluating some stuff. How are my feelings the same? Do I feel like I'm expressing my needs, or do I feel that my partner's needs are being felt? Do I feel like I know my partner, or any of these partnerships even? Or is anyone feeling fulfilled in anything that we're doing right now, Taurus? I feel like this is not like a big overhaul, but a very soft one. Just sort of like where we're noticing dissonance in some areas. We're being a little more inquisitive with that. Like, I notice when this happens, and not putting it maybe even on them. Like, this is what I feel, and this is what's going on with me. Is what is happening. Getting this more. I feel like it's broadening your vocabulary a little bit as far as like how we may be feeling and how we're communicating with others in a sense, and helping others, and not even just you doing all this work, helping others there, Taurus, kind of broaden their connection in a sense. Because I know your sign can be one that's considered kind of a taciturn type, those kind of like a more silent type, but where. And it's not like I'm saying I read something in this book, and I feel like I'm paraphrasing, but it's like we don't compromise on like idiosyncrasies, but we compromise on idiosyncrasies, but not on essence. Like where we're completely changing the dynamic of who we are, but it's just like, hey, in this relationship, this is how I need you to show up, and can you deliver that? And is that something that we can work on? And if not, what do we do going forward with that? How is that going to affect the relationship in a sense? And I feel like having the strength to say, even to where we may not be able to do something for someone possibly, and like understanding what that means, kind of processing that. And not that it needs to be, because the idea of that one person can be everything for that individual is that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot. There's this song, and I really enjoy this song, and I hope you understand kind of what I mean with this, Taurus, but it's that song, Lose Control. This is Teddy something. He's a Virgo, because of course I did some star stalking, but in that lyrics, it's like, I lose control when you're not next to me. My first thought was just like, oh, that's a little codependent. And that was for real, though, because I was just like, that's a lot. Like, we can't self-soothe. Like, and I know how that sounds, but it's like, even like some of the stuff, I hope that makes sense there, Taurus, but yeah, I just feel like there's this kind of this reevaluation, some new things opening, some new things closing. Very Pluto and Aquarius stuff that's getting ready to happen here. Let's talk about this energy there, Taurus. Lovely little segue, because you have Mars that's going to be entering Taurus, Taurus. He just forget about Aquarius, but Mars that's going to be entering Aquarius, and then you have Pluto that's in Aquarius for the next 20 years. And let's talk about Pluto, because this one is going to be a tricky one for you there, Taurus, on all where you have Taurus placements, because this is, Aquarius is that striving for that perfect sense of individuality, and I do feel like that this is going to ask us, how do we stand out from the collective? And it's not how we're better than. It's just, what unique thing am I bringing to the table that's going to better the world? But in order to be a better version of myself, I have to know that better version. I have to meet me authentically and not worry necessarily. People may have some conflicts with how I'm going, or how you may go about this journey, but it's your journey to go through. No one can tell you what to do at the end of the day. It's either you listen to the perspectives, or you listen to what your intuition tells you. Listen to what your guides, however you have the relationship. It may not be the greatest relationship. It may not be the strongest one yet, but it's there. And That's why I feel like this Pluto in Aquarius is going to lead to some shifts in dynamics as far as like groups that you used to roll with. This could be workplaces that we used to be at. You know, maybe there's a rebelliousness that does happen, and I don't feel this is just necessarily like a revolutionary type of energy, which when Pluto was last in Aquarius, there was the end of some revolutionary things, and there was a lot of innovation that was going on during that period of time. But I do feel like this is where Pluto is a generational planet. I do feel like collectively, as one begins to feel this rebellion, then another one starts, and another one starts, and another one starts. And I do feel that can be inspiring, that can be a lot of strength, but there is, I feel like, a responsibility that needs to be put on that as well, because is going to be some frustration in that, because then it brings up a lot of questions. Who am I? How do I resonate in this world? You know, what can I build? I have this comfort here. Why can't I just stay like this? Why can't things go back to the old way of being? But Aquarius wants new. Aquarius wants the future. And you may have done pretty well with Pluto and Capricorn, forming that trine energy. Now it's a little bit different. Now we're taking all this beneficial stuff, and now we're putting that to the test there. We're challenging you now, Taurus. And that's where I feel like that this Pluto it is going to be doing with those placements for you. And when we get Mars too, and I feel like this is one where we want to be mindful there, Taurus. Because I was mentioning this with Libra too. Because even with these energies, when I talk about like trines and sextiles, even that easiness, and when I was talking about that, things could be a little too easy, Taurus, and then we get lost in that. You know, we have to consider both sides. Everything has a higher and a lower expression. And just like with Mars, Mars is going to be entering into Aquarius on the 12th of February and will be there through the 22nd of March. And this, I feel, with one could either be an energy of where we meet, where there would be this conflict in our energy and we'll rise up to the occasion, or it could be where it would be a potentially frustrating time at first, and it'll probably be where individuals, how I picture this is like, in order to force towers, there will be these altercations when we find ourselves settling in a way that's leading to stagnation there, towards something's going to spur you and keep spurring you into action, you know, kind of keeping you heated, not where we can relax because something is not being met, in a sense, is what I'm feeling with this. And I feel there's some sort of honesty that's needing to be met with that. I have to light my other candle there, Taurus. But the thing too is that Mars and Pluto have this relationship because Pluto is the higher octave of Mars, and I feel like this energy is calling for us to be in that higher octave. Otherwise, I feel like this frustration of maybe we felt we had been suppressed, where we've given our power to someone, to something. Now we're going to look at the time that has passed, and it's like, I get that. But we can use, like, you still have the time that you're allotted on this journey. It may feel fleeting, but it's all a matter of perspective. You know, people will say, like, oh, time's moving so fast. And it's like, no, it's just moving the same speed it moves all the time. I remember hearing that on a podcast, and that really stuck with me. And I do feel that. Like, it's all a matter of perspective. You know, things could be, some people moving fast. Most of the time, it's moving slow for me, and I'm with it. I'm going to take my sweet time with it. But yeah, that's where I kind of feel like even that might even be something that might be kind of a challenge for you there, towards just like the concept of time even might be something where we're a little more alert of that as well. But I do feel like that this is where this may sound like a lot. I do feel like that this can be something where you get eyes on this stuff, and then this stuff isn't meant to be where it's like, oh, this is what it's going to be like indefinitely. No, this gives you like tools, gives you a warning. It's like the weather says it's going to rain. You can either take a jacket or you're not going to, but we can't complain if we go outside and it's wet. Or we can't complain when we go prepared and it's sunny. We just take it, we just adapt. And that's where I feel like this energy is going to get you to this place of just being. But yeah, these energies forming squares with your sign, as you can see, squares can form tension. They can bring you, they can push you, but I feel like they push you to get results. And that's where I feel like this energy is going to ask you to get innovative, maybe even with how you interact with the world, you know, and find this state of peace. Maybe if we can't get outside of nature, we get some plants, or we have some more, maybe you having wind chimes in the room, something that just a zen zone there, Taurus. But let me get your oracle card here and see what's going on with that. And this will be a particularly interesting one for you, Taurus, especially if you were born with Scorpio or Pluto in Scorpio, because we're all going to be going through a Pluto square here soon. Actually, would have just if you got early degrees of that, you've already been feeling that probably pretty potently with Pluto going back and forth between that 29th and 0 degree there. So, but in tension comes innovation and imagination, and we're in a lot of that energy right now, and that's fantastic for you. I feel like for your sign, that gives you a really creative space to play in. So, all right, interesting. There's been a lot of this too. And I feel like this is very important. Thank you, guys. Because you got the phase entanglement here, which is a card of emotional influence. And it can be hard, Taurus, but I do feel there is especially when we're talking about this partnership here, there is a kind way of expressing like, hey, may not have the emotional capacity for this. Paying attention to how others influence you emotionally. If they disturb your peace, I feel like what is that? Not just letting them keep doing it. And if it's something that is with you, that's going on, how do we make peace with that? And we can control how we react to that as well. But if this is something too where someone's like noticeably poking your buttons and you're noticing that, it's okay to get upset. I'm not saying we just like keep this stuff bottled in or anything like that. But I do feel that there is coming at it with a cool head. Like, hey, whenever this happens or whenever you do this, this is what comes up for me. Is that what you're going for? Because I'll be, and we're being mindful. But just so that we can understand, because if a person doesn't want to respect these boundaries that you're putting up there, then okay, then we're good. Like love and light. But I do feel like we do need to learn to take more responsibility for our emotional influence. Like, no one can make you feel some type of way, because if they keep doing it, then we can just remove ourselves. And if we choose to keep staying, even though they do this thing, we have to take some sort of accountability, because we can't control things outside of ourselves. We can express our concerns, and it's just however much you can put up with, Taurus. That's ultimately what happens. At some point, we do need to take responsibility for that. So, yeah, just something I feel like just to kind of pay attention to there. And I think that's all I got for that there, Taurus. Let's get some tarot on this. Let's see what's going on with that. And I feel too, Taurus, just being mindful of any sort of, because I'm seeing her just like saying something that she thought she said, but like I feel like making sure when we're hearing something or getting a story, making sure we're hearing it from the horse. Hearing it, well, maybe not refer to it, but hearing it from the horse's mouth. But all right, Taurus, let's see what is happening. Ooh, what are your cards for me? So you have the Two of Wands, the Two of Cups, the Five of Cups, the Ten of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, and then the Lovers card. Gemini energy here, Taurus. Now let's talk about the Lovers. Because Gemini energy is, I've been just getting a whole bunch of downloads and things, and a lot of information, and just been processing a lot of stuff. And one book I've been reading, which I'm going to include in the description box, was Stephen Forrester's book, The Inner Sky, is fascinating. But it was talking about Gemini energy and how Gemini is about perception. And that's what I feel like it's really kind of not having an opinion of what people saying, but getting in this observative space. Going with an open mind, just like again, just going just watching and seeing how you interact with certain relationships. So I feel like there's something with that. How you got this partnerships here, this emotional influence. Two of Cups lovers. Pay attention to that type of stuff there, and when we have conversations, let's say with these things, let's be mindful of actions and not just words. And just because with Gemini, it's just whatever's happening is just facts that are happening. And I feel there is this something that's going on. 10 of Cups, this sense of community that's happening here. That something is maybe changing in our environment, and we may feel some type of way here. 5 of Cups, feel this sort of emotional upheaval, been feeling that things are changing, but I do feel the Knight of Pentacles, which is one of your cards for me there, Taurus. I do feel there is this energy of when it makes sense, because I do feel like where we may cut off some people, we may say we don't feel a certain type of way. I feel like just kind of when something comes up, just even after something has maybe ended or maybe a chapter has closed with the world here, slow down and be with those things if anything existing comes up, because there may be some sort of leftover things that may need to be closed out, some things we may need to make peace with or something, or maybe there's something else we may want to explore, but yeah, it's very interesting there, Taurus. And I feel like it's also to these because the 5 of Cups can be this card of disappointment, and I feel there's this energy too where even when a relationship doesn't quite work out how you think it's going to work out, we do learn a lot from these experiences. And it's just, I feel this Knight of Pentacles is like, what do we plan to do with what we learned going forward? And remembering to be kind and go it at our own pace, and just healing as this energy just kind of, as the situation makes sense there, Taurus. So I like that. Because that's interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that. But this phase entanglement, it's like, we were operating in a different phase, but now the things have changed. And how has that phase changed? But let's get to this last energy here, there, Taurus, which is Mercury, because Mercury is going to be entering into Aries on the 9th of March. At about, I want to say 11:03 p.m. And then we'll be there through the 15th of May. And why so long, you ask? Because Mercury's going to be going retrograde. But I feel like this one could be potentially I feel like all this awareness that's happening in Pisces, I do feel that there can be a way to utilize this energy as fuel, because Mercury in Aries, I feel, is one that does get the mind kind of fired up. We've been in this dreamy, introspective space. We've been doing this healing. We've been thinking about, reflecting on where we want to go in this imaginative place of how this world is going to be built this next go-round. And it's like, what are we doing? I feel like this does give us, like, it puts that to action, like where, or at least gets us to where our mind is a little more fired up, where it's just like, oh, I can do this thing. Like, if I were to take these steps, like, this 2 of Wands, I don't think I touched on that last little bit, but I do feel like it just gets us thinking in a different perspective, that gets us fired up and get you a chance to be a bit more bolder, a bit more daring. Even I feel like it's this impulsiveness, but it's on an intuitive level. Really kind of trusting your guides in a sense, because Mercury again was in that energy of where it was really easy for you to communicate with the other side there, Taurus, to really kind of communicate with your guides. And now it's just like, how do you take those insights? How do you feel that in your body? What do you want to build? What do you want to create? You know, and I feel like this is going to be a well-placed retrograde, which I'll talk about a bit more when we get to Aries season next month. But I just feel that it gives us a chance to start up maybe even a few things and then just kind of pull back and observe how they make us feel, the joy that it brings, the relationships that it's formed. Does it bring more peace and things in your just everyday life, you know? So yeah, I really like this for Mercury. And I just feel with this, one thing to be mindful of is that kind of impulsivity, just starting up a bunch of things that don't make sense, you know, like, or I don't want to say don't make sense, but starting up a bunch of things where we're overloading ourselves. 9 of Wands there. So I just feel we want to be mindful of that, Taurus. But let's get your last oracle card here, you guides. I'm loving this energy that you're bringing there, Taurus. Huh. Libra got this card too. Being divinely guided. Thank you. Especially with the Empress getting ready to move to Pisces. But you have the Ascended Masters here. This has been going around a little bit. The Ascended Masters card here, which is a card of devoted spirits with specific intentions. And that's where I feel like this kind of Pluto energy for you, Taurus, is you finding you are a devoted spirit. Now, what is your specific intention? And of course, that changes over this experience there, Taurus. But I do feel like that it is making these wishes come true and really kind of getting an understanding of what those wishes are for you. You know, understanding, like, because I feel like even like it's like your guides want you to, like, it's not necessarily following in their footsteps. Like, it is towards the matter of ascension, but how you're getting there, I feel like it's very different. You know, you're not. In this example, like, sort of works, but it's like if you were coming at it, like, let's say you have all this Taurian energy and you're coming at it like, that's not gonna quite sit well. But I just feel like this is being to just very, very more intentional with how we're manifesting. You know, understand, like, instead of, it's like this getting really kind of familiar with how you are divinely guided, how you tune into your intuition there, Taurus, that it may be something bigger or may need to be a different type of ritual than just like maybe sitting in a church praying or sitting in cross-legged in meditation or going on a backpacking trip. This could be something as simple as just like being in the garden or maybe moving your body mindfully, doing some like Tai Chi or doing some sort of, you know, this like mindful yoga or whatever this may be looking like. But I just feel like there's this specific way that you're going about something that is finding that uniqueness to this sense of purpose, even with, that's interesting. Let me get some tarot on this and see if I can. Yeah, manifesting with intentionality. The intentionality, we're going to say that's a word there, Taurus. I tell you, my vocab's been really kind of, it's like the dictionary's just kind of blown up and these words are kind of popping out of it. Things are changing, Taurus. And this is a time to listen to your higher self. Find your true self, your higher calling. Thank you, guys. Let's see what's going on here. So you have the Queen of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, the Three of Wands, the Six of Cups, and the Eight of Swords here, Taurus. And let's switch back over. because I feel with this, and I love when the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles come out, because I feel like this is really this is really fertile land for you, Taurus. You already had your water. Now it's like figuring out what your foundation looks like with it. You have the dream, now let's manifest it, and I feel like this is a time for you, with the Eight of Swords to think a little bit outside of the box there, not pigeonhole yourself. I feel you have a lot of gifts and things to share with the Six of Cups, and I feel with this too, the Six of Cups can be a card of the past, and I feel like how you were in the past is something's evolved in you, Taurus. It's like this, you've hatched. You're on a different type of something's closed down. You're going through a different transformation there. You wise owl, and I feel that as you begin to start to develop and kind of nurture these. It's like nurturing these gifts with the Queen of Pentacles there. I really feel like it's, again, like really use that sensitivity that's happening with Venus being in Pisces. I feel like that's something to really kind of tune into that frequency, because I feel like that's I just feel the things that you can manifest and things that you can create into that, or what you picture you can build and sustain with that, I feel is something the Queen of Pentacles is giving me here. Like it's like this, like knowing when to take action in a sense. Like it's very interesting. It's like you're just gonna know which path to take here with this Three of Wands, Queen of Pentacles here, and it's just opportunities are going to keep opening. But this is something that we need to feel, Taurus. I feel with the Queen of Pentacles being here, and something to be patient with, and something to nurture, something that's something's for the long haul. Something's Ten of Pentacles. It's like we got the Ten of Cups, we got the wish fulfillment. Now I just feel like it just needs to come home. But all right, Taurus, I think I'm going to leave that there. A little something to think about. I've been trying something different here with how I've been channeling, and I've been it's been a little groovy there, Taurus. But if you like that, or if anything resonated with you, Taurus, give it a thumbs up. And share this, Taurus, if you know someone who's been just under this some sort of influence. I feel like there's something with the partnerships, contracts, and things. Maybe even be mindful too about the contracts that we're signing there. Do we really trust your intuition with that? Check in with your guides, and then subscribe there. What are you there? You hanged man. Hit that bell button. You get notified because you're getting enlightened there, Taurus. Hit that bell button to get notified on these videos each month, which I am changing up my schedule here with all the readings that are coming through now, like with how my schedule is changing. I'm going to be doing just like monthly, because I love Celestial News monthly. I'm going to do monthly ones and then the yearly videos as well. And actually, I'm excited to bust out I have a new format that I'm going to be starting when we get into Aries season. I feel like that flow will be a lot nicer. But I'm going to start doing that, Taurus. So there'll be monthly ones. And I feel like I'm going to be doing these sort of like collective videos talking about as far as like different aspects and things like that. Just as the energies kind of come through there, just so that stuff's on your radar, be a little more, maybe more condensed energy, like the condensed video for you to kind of process this stuff, some things to think about going into each of your weeks there, something along those lines there, Taurus. But it's still building in my head there, but be staying tuned for that. Like, it just won't be the weekly ones that'll be coming through here anymore. But also, as a reminder too, definitely book readings for me there, Taurus. I've been looking. I would love to partner with you and be of service to you. And I'm just honored to just be able to do this, Taurus. So just a thank you for all the support that you've been doing. And I think that's all I have there, Taurus. So let's get on that call. Let's check your sun, moon, rising, Venus, Mars, Mercury. And then come on over to my other... and if you have any Cancer... I'm all out of sorts. Because we're checking for Cancer placements there, Taurus, while we're doing that. Because if you have any Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, even if you don't have any placements, you can see where you're. Because we all again have Cancer. I have Cancer on the 12th house cusp, so on top of my Sun, Chiron, and South Node. Come on over to my other channel, The Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans, and I do zodiac spreads or card spreads based off what sign she's in, what phase she's in. It's a great old time. We talk about working with the lunar cycles there, really get intentional. It's fantastic. And all the housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here, Taurus, so I can get you out of here. And you got the Seven of Cups here, Taurus. And so I don't know if they got it as their surprise card, but I want to say Libra got the Seven of Cups too. Someone else got the Seven of Cups. I feel like it was as a surprise card. But the Seven of Cups is doors, I feel like, opening up for you, Taurus. This could be more new partnerships that are forming, new contracts, being open to socializing in a sense. And that might be something, too, where we may be taken out of our comfort zones. You know, maybe invited for something that we need to make sure we're understanding the details and things. And, you know, why are we making this decision that we're doing? You know, does this resonate with your higher calling? This is getting you closer to those ascended masters there, Taurus, what your intuition telling you. And just be mindful. Just, you know, the Seven of Cups is like my prelude to a devil moment. We already have the devil here, so just be aware of that, Taurus, of any sort of escapisms, getting lost in distractions and things like that. So let me get your other oracle card here, Taurus, so I can get you out of here. Alright, Taurus. Thank you, guys. And I like this. It's the fourth card here, which is the Dharma card, which is the Emperor energy here, Taurus. And with this Dharma card, you know, this is really kind of asking you as far as like living out your inner callings, your visions, your inspirations, and really channeling into that true self. And I feel that that was what we were talking about too, with all that Aries energy, though, this, you know, that big aspect that's happening with Chiron conjunct the North Node. And I feel this is, you know, are we living out to our true selves? And what's been impeding that? What's been getting in the way? Where we may have let ourselves down? And what have we... And that's, I feel like it's, with that Five of Cups too, it's not just staying in this state of letdown. It's getting to this place of there's growth. When one door closes, 7 more open. So it's just, I feel like it is finding the strength and the confidence to face these challenges here, Taurus. And it can be tough living out that authentic self, but that's what Pluto and Aquarius wants. And that's going to be, I do feel like this is going to be a big kind of who are you, you know, and how do you want to show up? You know, what have you been wanting to, and making peace with who you're growing into, Taurus, and who you want to, you know. And I feel like it's all for your higher calling in a sense, you know, and it's not denying that higher calling anymore. But I think I'll leave that there, Taurus. So you stay safe out there. All these changes and contracts and things, just be mindful of that, Taurus. You raise that vibration through the roof. Especially do some self-care, kind of take it easy. That definitely was feeling like that. But again, just be mindful of getting lost in that easiness. All right there, Taurus. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.